Welcome. Let's discuss the directrix lines in an ellipse. So where can we find the directrix on any ellipse? Well, we need to start by identifying the orientation of the major axis. And for this illustration, let's use ellipses where the major axis is horizontal. And the directrix will always be outside of the ellipse, but it will always be perpendicular to the major axis. So if our major axis is running horizontally, then our directrix will run vertically. But we don't have just one directrix in our ellipse. We actually have two, one on each side. So if our first directrix is on the right, our second directrix, it will be on the left. And the relationship between these two lines is that they will always be equidistant to the center of our ellipse. And for this illustration, I am considering an ellipse that is located at the origin, 0, 0. So now the question is, how far is this directrix away from the center of the ellipse? Now let's concentrate on this question. We do not know this distance, but let me use the placeholder of d to represent this distance. Because it is a vertical line, we have the equation of x equals. And now because right now we're saying that is d units away from the origin, and the origin is 0, 0, then this vertical line, I'm going to represent it as x equals d. And because they are equidistant, then the left directrix, we are going to represent it as x equals minus d. Well, now, can we rewrite this equation using any of the parameters that we have for ellipses in terms of a, b, or c? Let's have that discussion. Out of the two directrix, let me just concentrate on one because I know that they're equidistant. And let me consider the same ellipse two times because we're going to break this down in two cases. And because they're identical, the right-hand side, I'm also going to call it x equals d. Now let's start by placing some location of points that we already have on our ellipse. These purple points that we have are the different foci. Well, we can give a standard location. We have defined that the distance from the center to the foci, we use the parameter of c. And because the center is 0, 0, then the right-hand side foci, I can represent it as c, 0. And the same the other way around. It is c units to the left. The center is 0, 0. So the foci in the left, I can represent it as negative c, 0. So let me do this in both ellipses because I am discussing the same ellipse. I'm just going to look at two different cases. Well, in the first case, let me consider a point on the major axis. So let me represent that in this orange coordinate point. Well, we have said that the edge of the major axis, it is a units away from the origin. So I can represent this coordinate point as a, 0. In the second case, let me consider a coordinate point on the minor axis. So it should be somewhere around here. Well, we have said that the distance from the center to the edge of the minor axis, we use the letter of b, so we can represent this point as 0, b. Well, why are we introducing these two coordinate points? Because we are going to use it with the definition of eccentricity. Remember that the eccentricity, we have defined it as the distance that any point has with the focus divided by the distance that that same point has with the directrix. So df is the distance that the point has with the focus, and dd, it is the distance that the coordinate point has with the directrix. But now that we have coordinate points, we can define those distances. Let's concentrate on case number one. The distance that our orange point has away from the focus, it is this distance that we have here. But we can find that distance. It is a horizontal line, so we can just subtract the x values. So we'll have a minus c. And the distance that this orange point has with the directrix, let's represent it here in green. Let's call that dd. But we can find that distance as well. It is a horizontal line, So let's just subtract the x values. So we'll have d minus a. Now we can say that the eccentricity for our first case, it can be written as df over dd, which is equivalent to a minus c divided by d minus a. So let's keep this expression in mind. So now let's look at this second case. df, it is the distance that the orange point has with the focus, but this is not going to be a straightforward calculation because it's neither horizontal or vertically, but it is the distance between two coordinate points. So let's use the distance formula. So we have the difference of the x values, 0 minus c, plus the difference of the y values, b minus 0, square. We can simplify this. 0 minus c squared, well, that's just minus c squared. And b minus 0, well, that's just b. So let's call it b squared. We can simplify this. Well, in the first term, we have c squared. In our second term, we got b squared. But remember that we have a relationship where a squared is equal to c squared plus b squared. Well, that's the expression that we have inside of the square root. So the inside, let's just write it as a squared. And this is beneficial because the moment that we write it this way, the squares will cancel out. So now we know that the distance is equivalent to just the parameter of a. So let me just erase my work and let me just rewrite df to be equivalent to just a. And now to find the distance that this orange point has with the directrix, well, that's just a horizontal distance. And we know that it's horizontal because initially we said that it has to be perpendicular to a horizontal line. So it is the difference of the x values, d minus 0. So let's just call it d. And now that we have these two expressions, now we can say that the eccentricity of our second case, it can be defined as just a divided by d. And now this is very good because remember that we were dealing with the same ellipse in both cases. The eccentricity, it is a constant. It does not change if we're dealing with the same ellipse. Then that means that the eccentricity that we got on the first case, it is equivalent to the eccentricity that we got from the second case. So let's set them equal to each other. So we are going to get a minus c divided by d minus a, and that is equal to a divided by d. Let's not lose focus on what we wanted to do. We needed to find this parameter of d because that is the distance that we said that the directrix has with the center of the ellipse. So if we find this distance, then we can write down an equation for that vertical line. So let's see if we can solve for d in this equation that we have defined at the bottom. So let's do some cross multiplication here. Then we're going to get d times a minus c, and that is equivalent to a times d minus a. So now let's expand our expression by performing a distribution on the left. So we're going to get a times d. Let me just call that ad. And in our second distribution, we're going to get a times negative c. So let me call that negative cd. And in the right-hand side, in our first distribution, we're going to get a times d. Let's call it ad. And in our second distribution, we're going to get a times negative a. So that's negative a squared. But notice one thing. The expression of ad, it is present in the left and the right. So they are going to cancel out. And now we have the expression that minus cd is equals to negative a squared. But this is good because d is what we're looking for. That's what we needed to find that distance. So to solve for d, let's divide by negative c on both cases. And now we finally find that distance. The distance that this directrix has away from the origin, it will always be defined as a squared divided by c. So each directrix, we can rewrite it. And now instead of calling it x equals d, we can call them x equals a squared divided by c. So now we know exactly where we can find the directrix for any ellipse, because it will be a squared divided by c, distance away from the center.
Hello. If you would like to continue learning about mathematics, you can check out the videos on the left.